if you love a book and you've read it many times, buy the hardcover. This one's in better shape. Look at this cover picture. I mean, just take a look at that. Hello. It's appropriate, I suppose, because Henry Miller was a penis on wheels. There's no doubt about it. A lot of sex in these books. Really, he's not on the feminist beam. But I love his writing. When I was a little girl, I was at dinner with my family. I was probably 8, and my mom was talking about some friend of hers from the garden club, Mary Jo Stramp, someone like that. And Mary Jo, well, she did something. She hurt my mom's feelings. And so I was trying to back my mom up. I was trying to be there for my mom. And I said, what a cunt. And the whole world fell down at that moment. My mom went crazy. My dad, threw up. I don't know. People died. It was like heart attacks and strokes. And it was just no one could handle the fact that an 8-year-old girl had said the word cunt. And where had I learned it? And then I was dragged by my ear out of the kitchen into the dining room where I proceeded to eat my, chicken pot pie by myself. It was traumatic, people. All because I said this word, the C word. Well, anyway, the point is, Henry Miller uses it all the time. It's pretty much his favorite word. And he uses it for what it is. I mean, he's all into the juicy cunt, that's his big image. At least in the Tropic of, that's not, what am I showing you that for? This is this thing I'm thinking about. Therapeutic fiction. What is that? Probably something you don't think you'd be interested in, right? Therapeutic fiction. Well, here's the thing. I've been thinking about it. I feel that there's been this split between literature and I guess you would call it self-help books, self-help writing, spiritual writings. So that if you are a literary writer, you're reading literature, I mean, God forbid that you should sneak a little therapeutic wisdom in there, a little spirituality in there. And so the thing about Henry Miller is that I feel that he was here, he's kind of running around Paris when Bill Wilson was starting AA. And in my mind, if you look into the AA stuff, the 12-step stuff, that was being influenced directly by Freud and Jung. So it was 1930s, 1940s, and then once the 12, this is not documented, this is my theory, which is my theory. So the 12-step thing kind of went in this direction, and then there was this, spiritualism and spirituality and therapy and being a better person or knowing yourself better, not being a better person, screw that. I mean, there's no such thing as being a better person, but going deep inside yourself and really trying to unearth what's down there, and then also being on some level in evaluating, assessing, and analyzing and not resisting reality, but resisting the establishment, the man. And so literature feels like art and literature feels like it should be playing a part in that, as well as the spiritual inner revolution, but it's not, in my mind, always. Oh, here's a book. Here's someone who does that. See? This is what I'm talking about. These writers, I feel like, what was I saying? Do you see this jacket? I just want you to. Public Enemy. I do gotta show you the back. Back of this jacket. See? That's jacket. When I got out of college, I read things I read Beckett in college, and I read Henry Miller on my semester off from college. I did not teach Henry Miller in college. But I moved to San Francisco, and I met this guy, Randy. I worked at a bookstore, and he was my boss at the bookstore, and he was super into Henry Miller. And so I got into Henry Miller. He was in Nietzsche and Henry Miller, So it was this kind of feeling. The fantasy is that something you read can actually change who you are and inspire you to write or create something that will continue that process. So it's not just about entertaining someone or giving them a good book to read, but it's really about a sort of spiritual journey. And when I feel like if you even say the word spiritual around in literary circles, it's kind of like saying the word cunt at the dinner table when you're 8 years old.